Peace and love, family. Welcome to Candid Conversation. I hope everybody's doing well today.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, we got a great show for y'all today. Thank you for tapping in, joining in the conversation.
Happy Sunday, everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Yes. How's your day been so far?
So far, so good.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't complain at all.
What was good about it?
It was a beautiful day. We got a chance to actually go to mosque number 6 in Columbus, if you don't know. But yeah, it's a Muslim mosque. We got a chance to go today. Mr. Isaiah Hughley was the guest speaker. But yeah, we had a great time.
Oh yeah, he was the guest, but the gentleman who spoke today, awesome message.
Yeah, Minister Muhammad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. But again, welcome to Candid Conversation. I am one half of your host, King George, aka Mr. Knowledge is Power, if you didn't know. And this is my beautiful co-host, my one and only, my queen, the beautiful and intelligent.
Thank you. Dr.Natalie, Nicole, and happy Sunday again, everybody. I hope everyone's had a wonderful day. It's been beautiful outside today. Very nice. Hope you all have taken advantage of the beautiful weather. Got some sunshine.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to the summer. I'm not a summer guy.
Really? I know that. Okay,
Yeah.
But I
am enjoying some of these cool days while we still have them.
Okay.
Because the humidity is on the way.
Yeah. So this is Candid Conversation, where we talk about topics that are not
always popular.
Yes, but very important to our community and to our culture. So thank you for tuning in. And I just kind of had a moment before we got on here thinking about like all the people who actually join us live and spend time with us and conversate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We are so grateful. You could be doing something else, spending your time elsewhere. But we thank you so much for spending that time with us on Candid on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. And we hope you enjoy the content. We hope you feel comfortable giving your feedback. We can agree to disagree and have a good time. You always say that part.
Respectfully.
And have a great time. So, yeah, I just had a moment. I thought about that,
Yeah.
Because you think about yourself personally, like what do you listen to on a daily basis and give so much of your time to that you're actually live with it, right? I'm not a live person. I do the playback most times, so.
Time is a currency. And it's a currency that you can't get back.
That's
that
right.
You don't get a refund for.
That's
so if
true.
you're here, if you're chiming in, listen, we appreciate you again.
Very much.
Thank you to our day ones and to our new family. Welcome. We hope that you find value in our content. But without further ado,
all right, honey, let's
get into the show.
All right, so you have your quote for today?
I do.
All right.
The quote for today reads, Imagine reading a book with no way to turn the page back. How carefully would you read it?
Ooh.
That's life.
Ooh, nice.
For the people in the back.
Yes, one more time.
Imagine reading a book with no way to turn the page back. How carefully would you read it? That's life.
Absolutely. Wow.
So yeah.
That is life, honey.
It is life. Yeah, you don't get to turn back the pages. You don't get to do over. So every decision you make needs to be an informed decision. So yeah.
Listen, I'm going to leave that alone because that could take me on a whole tangent.
It could take all of us on a whole tangent.
About life, yes. All right.
Yeah, so.
All right. So we're transitioning into our election dates, which we are on the brink of tomorrow. Super excited. Are you guys excited?
I hope so.
We're one day closer to May 19th.
Yeah.
And
less than a month away.
Yes, learning who our new elected officials will be. Super excited about that.
Yeah, make sure that you have your information. We talk about this all of the time. Make sure that your information is correct. Go back and check your voter registration and make sure everything is good. Because this election is critical.
Yes.
It's critical. We can't say that enough. So make sure your information is right. Make sure that your family's information is right. And that you're having this conversation not only with us, but with your family and friends. And that's part of the reason why we have this platform, to inform people. And then you go out and tell a friend. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Iron sharpening iron here.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, so let's get into the election calendar. Voter registration deadline was April 20th. So if you did not register to vote by the 20th, Shame on you.
Uh-oh.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Yes, yes. Because too many people, especially our in history and our ancestors have fought and died to give us the right to vote.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people take it for granted. You know what I mean? This is not something we should take lightly. Again, people were in constant fear. People actually lost their lives in brutal ways. You know what I mean? Just to have the right to vote. So make sure that we're doing our part to move forward in voting.
It's the least that we could do, because we are definitely not in the same times as our ancestors, and they, through thick, thin, everything, they move forward.
Yeah.
So we got to be grateful for that.
So we're not, but we are at the same time. But we'll get into that later. You know, things have changed, but at the same time, not so much. But yeah, so that's April 20th was the deadline. Advanced voting, April 27th, which was
Tomorrow.
That's right. Tomorrow is the 27th.
Yes.
So yeah, if you're able to get there, early voting is critical.
Yes, 7
We
a.m.
don't want to wait. Yeah, we don't
7
want to wait.
a.m. to 7 p.m.
We don't want to wait to the last minute to make sure that you're voting. And the precincts are, you want to give them the precincts?
Yeah, so you can early vote at 3 locations this year, and hopefully we will improve that. But early voting on the north side is at the Recreation Center, and that's down Veterans going towards Harris County by Northside High School. And then you have Macon Road, the Citizen Center, where you can go in and vote there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then you have Shirley B. Winston, which is off of Steam Mill Road.
Yes.
And you can go there also and vote 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Please make sure you vote early. Get your vote in. Take someone with you. Yes. Give someone a ride. Encourage someone else to vote.
Right. So yeah, so those are the polling locations or the early voting locations that she just named.
And I think as we get closer to the actual day, there are specific precincts that we can list because there's been some updates this year that we can list and make sure everybody has those as well.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, May 15th is your last day for early voting. So make sure you're taking advantage of this time. You know, it's a little less than, maybe a little more than 3 weeks left to vote early, but you don't want to wait until the last minute. May 15th is the last day, but you want to start tomorrow, April 27th. Get down there, cast your vote, make sure your vote counts. So yeah.
Yes.
And then absentee ballot requests, March 2nd was the first day, and the last day is May 8th. So you still have time to get your absentee ballot in before May 8th.
Yes, and we printed several of those off because we have delivered some and made sure that those who needed that and maybe didn't have a printer. So if you need some, let us know. Put it in the comments, inbox us, and we'll make sure we get it to you.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, so that's pretty much it for the 2020 election calendar. Of course, if there's a runoff, June 16th.
No.
If necessary. We don't want that. But if necessary, June 16th, 2026 is the runoff.
Okay. All right. So then those are the election dates. Real quick, I want to shout out Denise again. Hopefully you were able to get you one of your 706 handbooks, civic engagement handbooks. Listen, when I tell you the quality of these books are amazing, even if you didn't get one and you didn't use it for the forums, you might want to get one just like a yearbook, right? That's something that you can keep, something that's very nice to add to, you know, how people like to have, what do you call it, like artifacts or things of that nature. So very, very nice. Make sure you get one. Yeah. And hopefully you've taken some notes and you're using that to make your informed decisions. There's a lot of information being shared all over social media, including here, right? But everybody has to make their own decisions, right? Everybody has to take what's being put out and then also do your own research and make your own decisions. One last thing before we move out of the election information is that we have questions on the ballot, right? If you choose a nonpartisan ballot or independent ballot, you will not get questions. You must choose a Democrat ballot or a Republican ballot in order to answer the questions. And so we're not going to go into detail. I'll probably get with some of like Denise or some other people here in the community, and we'll go through these in detail just in case anyone has questions. But we're just going to read over a few of them tonight. And if you're going to vote tomorrow, you can find the link. I'll put it here in the comments. Please make sure you review those questions so that you're prepared and ready to answer them once you hit the ballot box, okay? Also, make sure you know all of your candidates that's going to be on the ballot. And you can go, crucial. Yeah, you can go to the website, myvoter.org, myvoterregistration.org, or something like that. And I'll put that in the link. And you can check and see who's going to be on your ballot. You want to read a couple of your questions?
Yeah, this is for the Republican ballot. Oh, you switched it up on me.
I did.
Question 1. This is one of the questions that's going to be on the Republican ballot. Should Georgia enact the strongest election integrity measures possible, which may include hand-marked paper ballots, fines for counties that refuse to maintain current voter rolls, and restrictions on no-excuse absentee voting to restore trust in elections?
So I just want to note that the local Republican Party from Muskogee County did not submit any questions. These are all statewide questions that you have. So that's the question. And then you want to explain what that means for them?
Well, I'll just go to the next question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the next question
okay.
That you can kind of expect. Should Georgia prohibit judges from releasing criminal defendants accused of murder and other felonies without posting secure bail?
Okay.
So we're just giving you an idea of what you're going to have on the ballot, and those are 2 questions
from the
Republican state level.
Okay.
That's going to be on there.
All right, and on the Democratic ballot, we have state and county questions. So what I'll do is I'll read one of the state and then one of the county questions. And then, of course, like I said, I'll put these questions, all of them, in the comment section here. And if you have any questions, please just, reach out and let us know. So one of the state questions for the Democratic ballot is, should the state of Georgia raise the sales tax on everyday items like clothing, food, and school supplies to pay for an income tax cut that would make millionaires and billionaires richer? Okay, great question to consider. And then one of the county questions, which came from our local Democratic chair or party, is, although certain races are nonpartisan, should voters know the candidate's political affiliation before they vote? Excellent question. Excellent question. So these are, important questions that you want to make sure that you give some thought to and you answer properly so that it can help to move our county in the right direction. Now, I do see that Mr. Jose Quinones has put May 11th is his, what's this say?
Forum.
Yes, the forum. But that says La Voz Latina.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Forum. Okay, very good. So make sure, and we'll put that flyer as well in the comment sections later, but make sure you plan to attend that forum on May 11th. Right. Okay, honey. Moving right along.
Yeah. So what we got next? Yeah, we can move into, well, let me pull it up.
What's that?
What we're going to jump into next.
Oh, okay. The forum. The forum we went to at the CSU?
Yeah.
Yeah, so WRBL hosted their forum, and initially the candidates needed $25,000 skin in the game in order to show up, but they changed that, and so everybody was available and able to come, with the exception of Dr. Bryant Colbert. Yeah,
who wasn't in attendance, but yeah, if you were there, put in the comment section what you saw.
If you watched it live.
Yeah, even if you watched it, put your comments or your thoughts in the comment section, but. We can get into it.
I'm ready. I'm listening.
Yeah. This forum, for me, was not anything different than what we've seen in the last, I would say, 2 forums. So there was questions asked about how, if you were mayor, how would you partner with CSU to help students with housing, for example. And, you know, of course we know housing, the rent is high nowadays. So the question was posed, you know, how would you partner with different organizations to try and help alleviate the cost that comes with housing for CSU students? So that was one of the questions that was asked, and, you know, each candidate answered it, but they answered it the best they could as far as not having the knowledge of what a mayor can do.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
And I would like to add that what I found very interesting is that instead of answering, because there was one young man that was representing CSU, and he asked questions specifically regarding CSU. So I would think that when they ask you a question that's specific towards CSU, then you only answer specific towards CSU. And instead we had candidates, with the exception of Mr. Hughley. I believe he answered all of his questions, you know, to the point. But everybody else was, well, the rent is high all over the place, and the rent is high in Columbus. And so just to be mindful of that, when the student is there and they're present and they've, you know, put their questions together, they want answers for their community. And so I thought that the candidates should have done a better job of making sure that they, you know, really did answer the student's question instead of providing a lot of fluff and going all around the world.
Yeah. So for me, they answered it the best they could. They answered it the best they could. But what was another question that was asked?
Let's see. Public safety.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. And if you've been going to these forums or watching them, the answers have pretty much been the same across the board. And for Mark LaJoy, public safety for him, that's his number one thing on his campaign.
Right.
Is to, you know, take care of the police and you know, he keeps saying about these gangs are out of control, and he wants to, you know, make sure we get rid of gangs, but crime is his thing. He wants to reduce crime, and I get it. Yeah, Columbus has had a bad rash of crime over the last 10 years.
Okay.
I mean, of course, it got worse over time, but the last 10 years, it has been bad. But for me, you can't build big enough jails. You can't arrest your way out of crime. That's not the solution to fix it. So for me, you can't keep saying that you want to tackle crime, or we need to tackle crime. Crime is never going away, but crime can be, crime can be brought down if you take care of poverty, because to me, that goes hand in hand, poverty and crime.
Right.
You alleviate poverty, then you reduce crime. So, you know, people are going to feed their families no matter what, by any means necessary. So while we might not agree with some of the tactics that people are taking, they're going to do what they need to do to feed their families. So you have to provide opportunities for people in marginalized areas and neighborhoods and communities.
Right.
So that they have options, so that they feel like, okay, there is another door I can go through, or there is another street that I can go down, versus having tunnel vision and I can only go one way and that way is blocked.
Right.
So I have to resort to doing A, B, and C. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. And I agree. His whole campaign has been centered on public safety, and then the scare tactic that, you know, we're in danger, and that you what did he say specifically? You cut the snake off of the head off of the snake, then there's one waiting, you know, behind. And I don't know, I just don't feel that way, right? I understand that we do have crime issues, and like you said, it's everywhere. You know, growing up, I'm from Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. You know, the north side was the side for crime.
I think it still is.
In Jacksonville for me. And here it's the south side. So it doesn't matter where you go. Crime is, you know, there. It's just a matter of, I believe, building community connection and doing a great job with the crime prevention, you know, programs that they have in place. And, you know, I've been hearing a lot that some people feel that certain areas are more policed than others. So just building those relationships in communities so that crime can really decrease, as opposed to people just getting it in.
I mean, you got to give people opportunities, period.
Right.
That's what I believe. I think that's what history has shown. A lack of opportunities is going to cause crime to increase. So that's what's happening in African American and brown communities.
Listen, Mr. Wilson says it sounds like you just want to lock black folks up. Absolutely.
That's what it seems to me. That's what it seems.
Yeah.
You cannot. There's no way. That's not the solution to the problem. And that goes to show that he's out of touch with reality.
Yes.
And that's why we need somebody in this seat as the next mayor who can empathize, who's for all of the people, not just some of the people. Because you keep talking about locking people up. Well, who are the people who are being locked up the most?
Yeah. And who are a part of these gangs? Our babies.
So that's what it is for me, and that's why Mr. LaJoy does not have the answer as mayor.
And of course, he's a career politician since 2012 at least. He's been running for positions and he's never been elected. So I believe he'll get that same result this season. Real quick, Mr. Wilson said Greg Countryman has these streets on lock. I feel crime has gone down, in my opinion. Yes.
Yeah, it has gone down. Like if you're paying attention, it has gone down a lot.
Yeah.
So there's been a significant
doing
decrease.
great things in the community. I think, I don't know, I don't want to say this and it sound bad, but I feel like the sheriff is truly cleaning up, like drugs and crime and gangs. And I feel like the police are, insurance, tags, any little thing, those types of things, seat belts. So do they have different missions and jobs that they're supposed to be doing? Because I feel like they, kind of police different things.
Yeah. So the police are basically on the streets every day. They're policing the streets. And the sheriff department runs the jail.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So they work hand in hand. And then the sheriff's department, they have their own tactical task force.
Okay.
Yeah. So they work hand in hand, but the sheriff's department is over the jail, and then the police department, they're in the streets every day.
Yeah, well, it's on the sheriff's department where you see all the spread of guns and drugs and all that kind of stuff like that. So they are doing a great job, like you said. Mr. Quinones says you must create programs that empower and restore unity in our community. Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right, and that's needed, and that's what I mean when I say you can't police or arrest your way out of crime. That's not how that works. You know what I mean? That's like somebody being sick, going to the doctor. Doctor tells them they have cancer, but you keep trying to give them Theraflu.
Right.
Or you keep trying to give them
a
Band-Aid. You got to get to the root of the problem, and the root of the problem is poverty.
Absolutely. And not even just poverty. Think of the fact that we don't have living wages that is adjusting with the current inflation that we have. That is an issue for several families, a lot of families too. Yeah,
and then Columbus is below the median level income in Georgia. So, you got to create opportunities for people to be able to take care of their families, because otherwise people are going to keep trying to feed their families however they can do it.
And I don't understand how people are missing that. They say, we want the people to stay. We want them to stay. And then stay for what? And what kind of jobs when you're not? I mean, I just had a conversation with someone yesterday. They went from making $22, $23 an hour to applying to another job where they just wanted to pay them $10. Where are you going to make it on $10 an hour in this economy?
Well, like I said, again, then, entrepreneurship is huge, and that needs to be something that's taught. Financial literacy needs to be taught.
Yes.
But there needs to be, I know they have trades at CTC. I know they have trades there. But there needs to be a trade school specifically in Columbus, in low-income neighborhoods, for people to go learn a trade so that they can take care of their families. Right.
Absolutely. And walking distance and all of that. Catch the bus, make sure transportation is readily available, because that's another concern in our city. But that's LaJoy's situation. I'm sorry to say, he said on his video he was going to be some WWF. I didn't see any of it. I didn't see any of it from Mr. LaJoy on this past forum at all. Do you think that he was a little calm and collected in this forum?
No, I just think he was being himself.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think it was business as usual, and he was just being himself, which is what he does. Is he likes to attack the other candidates to make himself look better, and basically say what they're not doing, and then say what in turn what he's gonna do.
Right.
But I just don't see. He doesn't have the solution. As mayor, he won't have the solution.
No, and there was a little back and forth with him and Kelly, joking and laughing, stuff
they're
like
buddies.
that. So I felt it was unprofessional. I don't feel like it was appropriate for the forum. And really, I'm trying to think in my mind forums that I've watched before, especially. Where do people do this at? They really don't. So not in my opinion.
When you say do this, what do you mean?
Joke back and forth, laugh and giggle. The conversations between them. This is a serious forum. You're on news for people to learn more about what you have going on, not to look at the relationship they have between each other. He says, Mr. Wilson says, put trades back in high schools. That's an excellent idea.
Yeah, and some of them do. I think Carver High School has a trade program. Jordan High School has
Columbus.
So it's a few of them that do. But I think every high school needs to have it. I think every middle school needs to have it.
Yes.
Just like we used to have home ec. You know what I mean? There needs to be maybe a program that's going to take you from the middle school level into the high school level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it needs to. Because some kids are dropping out in middle school.
Right.
Some kids are, full blown into the streets in middle school. So I think that's where it starts.
Yeah, and middle school is a tough time period for students.
Right.
And I think, that's the time you really need to hone in on what's your skills, what do you care about? What do you want to be when you grow up? Because listen, they're not worried about math, science, English, and all of those things. They're pretty much bored with it and into their social life. But if you hone in on where they want to be and what they want to be when they grow up, maybe they will focus on, what are some of the trades that high schools offer? Because all I remember was home ec and then mechanical stuff.
That was pretty much the gist of it. Auto mechanics, I think woodworking or wood shop.
Okay.
But outside of that, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I do know Turner Job Corps in Albany, Georgia. They have a great trade. This is a great trade school.
Okay.
So I think that we need to bring that to Columbus. Albany is a super small town. We need a trade school right here in Columbus for kids to take advantage of.
Right.
They just built this new place off of Fort Benning Road that's going to be a place for people to come take advantage of aircraft mechanic skills. But I think that's available I think they said it's available for civilians too.
Yeah, it's open to the public.
Yeah.
It's tailored to veterans, but open to the public.
And I don't know what the tuition is. I don't know, what those fees are. But Job Corps is free. Job Corps is free, and the students get paid. They learn their trade. They get fed 3 square meals a day. You know what I mean? It's like a college campus.
I like it.
So they need to bring that here to Columbus. But in the meantime, Columbus needs to partner with them until we do have our own Job Corps. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to talking to City Council and leadership in Columbus about bringing that to Columbus.
Right, because, being that we are the second largest city
you keep saying that.
in this state, right?
Yeah.
Population-wise, listen, we got to do better with the programs that we offer as it regards, transitioning students to trade schools and what you just mentioned so that they can have a success life, because everybody knows college is not for everybody. Military is not for everybody. So we have to have a variety of things for everybody to be able to be successful.
Yeah, I just had a discussion with some great group of guys about the different options for kids, whether it be trade school, whether it be the military, and tell us what y'all think. What different paths that should be available for kids. You know what I mean? Because like you said, college is not for everybody.
Right.
And that was jammed down our throats as kids. You need to get an education, go to college.
Years. Yeah.
But what they don't tell you is, first of all, you got all of this student loan debt. So whatever job you get coming out of college is not going to pay you a lot because you don't have experience. So then there's that, and you got to pay this loan back. You know what I mean? And the job that you take may not pay you starting out. Maybe the first 2 years, it may not pay you a great livable wage. So it's going to take time for you to get there. So yeah, there's a lot that's involved with that.
And that is the truth. As from education experience, I saw babies, and I call them babies because they transitioned from high school to teaching.
Yeah.
And they were still depending on their parents. And they literally, like, that's good. I went to school. I'm a teacher now. I have my own job. But you have a rent. You have car insurance. You have a car payment. You have all these insurance. You have all these different things. And they were not able to make it by themselves.
Yeah.
They still needed to depend on their parents. And that's the reality of what we have going on. Because, you know, including that they needed to stay in a safe area. And, you know, we have babies that choose not to stay in safe areas, and it looks like, you know, a third world country in some of these places here in Columbus, Georgia.
Right.
But that's what they can afford, and that just really should not be the case. It's not okay.
After you spent 4 years in college.
Right.
So,
How you doing, Miss Bay? She says, hello, you all are busy running around to different events.
yeah, we were busy this week.
All right.
We were super busy this week, but we're going to talk about all of that, all of the events that we attended.
Yes.
But yeah, so just to wrap up about the forum, if you were there, if you were able to watch, it wasn't a whole lot, you know, I mean, this is at the tail end. The election is next month. So, you know, there wasn't a lot in this forum that stood out to me. You know what I mean? And as a candidate, you know, if you don't have it together at this point, I
and
think
some
it's a
of
little
them
too
do
late.
not because they started late, right? And I'll say that Brialt, right? Mr. Brialt signed up on the very last day. Seems like a bright, intelligent young man. However, every question they asked him, he tied it back to potholes, you know, restrooms being messed up, no water fountains. We are absolutely already tired of hearing the same thing over and over, or it being tied back to every question that has been asked. And just being in the community this weekend, right?
Yeah.
People are like, we don't even use water fountains anymore. It's disgusting, you know, it's unsanitary. So to me, that communicates that he has a disconnect to what's really relevant to concerns for citizens.
Right.
So, you know, that was my thing for him. And most of the issues that he's bringing up, they are in District 7, Councilor Kogel's area. That river down there by the Riverwalk and all that stuff, all those are things as a city councilor she has neglected and she does not care about for District 7. So, you know, a lot of things have been tied back to one person, but specifically, you know, there are council members who are responsible for each district. And, you know, I always believe you start at the lowest level, you know, with your representative for that area, because they have been elected to serve and represent the needs and the concerns of that area. So most of the things that he's mentioning on the Riverside or what have you, Riverwalk, you know, that belongs to Kogel. And the past 3 years, she's not done anything about those areas. In addition to that, you know, she highlighted that our city is incredibly dirty. People kind of went in on social media that were watching live when she said that. And so I haven't seen any initiatives that she implemented to clean it up. And even when she said that she's done a tremendous job and hard work in Oakland Park, some residents didn't feel the same way.
Yeah. So again, nothing jumped out to me from this forum. Then there was a question asked about the positive things that Columbus does.
Yes.
And Mark LaJoy, Chris Brialt, and Steve Kelly.
And Kogel
kept talking. Well, I felt like at least she did name some positive things. But the other two, they kept talking about Columbus. They kept talking about all of the things that are wrong with the city. And the question simply asked, give us positive things. What are the positive things that Columbus has going for it? And the only candidate, if you were watching, if you were paying attention, was Mr. Hughley.
Absolutely.
who just ran down a bunch of positive things that Columbus does well. So yeah, but again, tell us your comments about the answers you heard, and then some of the questions that were asked. So to me,
how do you feel about it? Speaking directly to what's being asked instead of having this strategy of okay, let me see who I can attack in this answer, and then finally get to what I want to say. But the quality is in us being able to hear exactly what you plan to do for our city as the mayor. And I'm sorry, like all this negativity, and fluff, we don't want that. We don't want that. And I think the gentleman in the middle, when he asked them, because he's like the president of something here in Columbus, the chamber or something, well, he was paying attention, and his sphere of influence was paying attention on which one of these people are going to be able to sell Columbus to other people. And guess what? People do not want to hear, you can't sell them on negative stuff.
Not at all.
You can't.
Not at all. So again, tell us your thoughts, what you thought about the forum. And listen, when I tell you it was thin, there weren't very many people there.
Right.
The parking lot was empty.
Right.
The audience was empty. So that was, like I said, the tail end of all of these forums. Maybe people have already made their decisions, which I believe at this point.
Most of them have.
Yeah, the stage is set. Everybody already knows who's running and who they're going to vote for at this point. So, yeah, I don't feel like there needs to be many more forums.
Right.
People's minds are made up. But we'll see. Mr. Quinones does have a forum coming up May 11th. So if you are able to attend, show up so you can get a chance to see, if you haven't already, what you can put a face with a name, and then you can listen to their answers and listen to the questions, and then give your own assessment of who you feel is most qualified for mayor. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to attending this one. And I also seen that Cole Gay will be having a District 15 forum, just as they did online. Okay. So that's going to allow Teddy Reese, Alyssa Williams, Harbison, and whoever else is running.
Harbison Jr.
Yes,
Make sure we... Ed Harbison Jr. Make sure we're getting that right.
Yes.
Not Ed Harbison, but Ed Harbison Jr.
Yes, whoever else is running in that district, to give us an opportunity to hear from them as well. So we're excited about that. And yeah, so, I just want to say this to close out my comments as it regards to forum. It takes a special kind of confidence and courage to lie publicly, and then know that you have citizens and people in your district that can say and have receipts otherwise. And so, I just found that it doesn't speak to credibility, and it doesn't speak to leadership to say certain things when in fact it's not the truth. And so I want voters to be mindful of that. We have to fact check everything that's being said. Everything.
The smear campaign is real. The smear campaign is real. But that comes with politics. If you're gonna play this game, you gotta know the rules and what comes with it. So,
well, lying, that comes with politics.
Yes, honey. That is a big part of politics. Yes, historically, what did Bill Clinton say? I did not have sexual relations.
He was already elected, honey.
But you asked me about lying. Do y'all remember Bill Clinton, former President Bill Clinton, said over and over what he did not do, and it came to be false. He perjured himself. So yeah, again, to me, that's part of the game that comes with the territory. Now, should people lie? Of course they shouldn't. But that's a part of politics. You've seen the commercials.
It's a lot of lying going on. Mr. Quinones says he thought it was boring. Yeah.
It was.
Okay.
It was.
And then he says, I know it's late, but this will be different and more direct. His forum that he has coming up on the 11th. Absolutely.
Yeah, and this is a different perspective. So that's why I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes.
And you should too. So make sure we're going to put the information.
May 11th.
Yeah, so make sure you check your calendar so you can make room to be there.
Now, I really think that Coco thought she was saying something. I'm not sure who wrote it for her when she said failure can't be fixed by failure. And with failure. So you're right, honey. You're right. And that is exactly why, she's not mayoral material. her votes has contributed to a lot of the decisions and the places that we are right now in this city. How do you remove yourself from that? Your track record in your district right now is full of blight. Full of blight. There are business owners right now who have no idea who you are. When I asked, do you know who your District 7 representative is? No.
Yeah.
That was the answer, consistent answer. No. She champions small business. Do you feel like your small business has, received any assistance or support from your district counselor? No.
Yeah.
So that is the track record that she has for District 7, which is an epic failure in my opinion. So you might want to be mindful of the things that you say or that you allow people to write for you. Yeah. Because it's just really giving us a reflection of what you've put forth for District 7. And if you can't take care of a district, Brialt has laid it out about the Riverwalk and how disgusting and trash and all that stuff is going on down there. If you can't take care of your own district, what do we look like voting for you for mayor? So I think she needs to, her campaign or whoever, they need to think about that. They need to reconsider, this failure can't be fixed by failure, because for most of us in District 7, except with the exception of her, what do you call those people? Entourage or fan group or what have you. She's been a failure for District 7.
And put what you know about District 7 and what she has done. Tell us the positive things. Tell us the great things that she's done for District 7 in her tenure since she's been on council.
I want to know. She has complained a lot in interviews about things that are not this and not that. But when I look at the agendas and the meeting minutes, I haven't seen her implement any solutions for the things that she has brought up that needs to be fixed. And if she's not able to do it, then who is able to do it? That's my question. Because anybody can just spout out all of these issues, waiting in line for 8 hours to do my business license. Okay, honey, what have you done? What have you implemented? What policy, ordinance, resolution have you implemented for council to consider to fix these things? So you say we need to update this and update that, but I would just less and more action. And if she could say, this was a problem, waiting in line for 8 hours to get my business license. So this is the bill, the resolution, the ordinance that I submitted. Either it was approved or it wasn't approved. At least we know she's done something to actually fix the solution, the problems that she just keeps bringing forth. And that's where the problem and the gap lies. There's not been any action to fix things that she mentions. Okay, let me see. Corey says, what do you think about mixing politics with religion? Mr. Turner says, you, the public, must educate themselves and get fully involved. Absolutely.
That's right. Shout out to Mr. Turner. We appreciate you tapping in with us, sir.
Okay, and then Miss Bay says, I got to just take a strong medication. This sickness is trying to get me. Oh, okay, honey. Feel better. So let's go back to this question. What do you think about mixing politics with religion? What you mean, Mr. Wilson?
Yeah.
What you mean?
I don't agree. I think politics needs to be separate from religion.
Well, I need to understand what he means by that. Let's see, they must have a district debate. I need to understand what you mean by that, because I have two sides of the coins. We see politicians being invited to churches to say hello. We see clergy endorsing, politicians. And so I think that's normal, because they are voters, they are citizens, they are part of the community. However, when you say religion, I would say that as a leader, as an elected politician or official, you can't exclude certain people in your community because of their beliefs, their behaviors, and things of that nature. So that's where I would say religion does not fit into politics.
What do you mean exclude?
Like the LGBT T plus community, because you don't agree with their lifestyle, you may say, well, I'm not showing up to their forums, I'm not going to represent them. Then you shouldn't be an elected official. Like, you have to be able to represent every human being that's a citizen in this city. So in that way, I don't believe religion and politics should mix. But I do believe that, clergy, citizens, they are voters, and they have organizations and they have spheres of influence that they, are included in that way. So I'm not sure which way you were going with that. So let us know, Mr. Corey. Yeah. Let's see. The mayor is a figure in our government hierarchy. Okay. Okay, I always enjoy you both. Thank you, honey. Okay, you must. Leadership is a calling. Very good. What makes a Christian nationalist different from a Southern Baptist? Okay. And then one more thing here. Let me read this real quick. Always trying to learn as much as I can from every source. It's important to get and feel what the people have to say. Okay, so what makes a Christian nationalist different from a Southern Baptist? Great question now. Great question.
Yeah. So from what I know, Christian nationalists they believe in, I guess, that the Bible should govern how we carry ourselves. That's a Christian nationalist. And then I think that's totally different than what a Southern Baptist is. But you have to define Southern Baptist because to me that's just another denomination. But to me that's the difference. A Southern Baptist is someone who, in essence, is a Christian. But a Christian nationalist believes that the Bible should govern how we politic, police, and otherwise.
One is not inclusive, and the other is based on love. So I would say the Christian nationalist, we know that when Ben Garcia had white nationalists, Christian nationalists, whatever he had on his Instagram page, Kogel immediately removed him from her staff because it comes with a negative connotation that there's a certain standard, there's a certain way that you should conduct yourself, behave, and everybody that does not do that, they are excluded. And of course, that includes, a demographic of people.
But what do you say they're excluded?
Meaning, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. So just like the Republican Party is not for everybody, the Democrat Party is not for everybody. It's a way of being. It's a standard. A white supremacist, from what I understand, way of being.
Because
yes,
but go ahead.
In my opinion, of being. And with the Baptists, it's about love. It's about God came and, he gave his only begotten son for everybody. And it's not excluding any specific people or group, and giving it standards outside of the Bible. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, from what I've seen and what I know, Christian nationalists are not MAGA. They're not all one, but they're all being grouped or painted as one, but they're not.
Did you find a definition of it?
Well, I have. I'll get to it, but put in the comment section the facts. From what I have gathered and the research that I've done, a Christian nationalist is not someone. They're not all the same. They're not all grouped together. They're not all MAGA supporters. They're not all white supremacists. That's not accurate. But put in the comment section what you know and what you've heard and the research that you've done as it regards to white or Christian nationalists. But I'll read the facts that I came up with.
Mr. Kelly is on here, and he says Southern Baptists are members of a specific Protestant denomination with a history of supporting religious liberty and a separation of church and state, while Christian nationalists believe the U.S. was founded as a Christian nation and that the government should actively privilege Christianity. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so it's not a racist group. It's not, you know what I mean? There are factions. Well, give me the receipts, like you say. But it's just being painted that way. But everybody, if you ask any Christian nationalists, they will disagree with what they're being painted as when it comes to racist, MAGA supporters. That's not the case for everybody. Just like all Republicans are not MAGA supporters. You know what I mean? So they're just being grouped together and painted, all with the same paintbrush, if you will.
Okay. So again, for me, it is a form of exclusion. It's not inclusive of everyone. And so Mr. Wilson says, preachers have a lot of pull in our communities. Do they always have our best interests in mind or their personal agendas? Do preachers have their personal agendas in mind? Well, it depends. It depends on the pastor, the preacher, the church, or what have you. If you would like to elaborate on exactly what direction you're going with that, because everyone has agenda in somewhat fashion or form. And, it's either for the good of the community, like you said, or it's not. So, not sure where you're going with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so here...
best interest in mind.
Let me see.
That's a great question.
Which question?
About whether or not preachers have our best interest in mind, or their personal agendas. And so, again, there is a lot of discussion about, different things that's going on in the community. And, a lot of us are not privy to whatever the personal agendas are or whatever the backroom deals are. So it would really need specifics for me to understand or kind of see whether or not somebody's personal agenda or if they really have the best interest of the community. Meaning, I don't know the specifics. That's what I said.
The specifics of
what he's asking, honey.
About Christian nationalism?
No, honey.
Well, that's what I'm trying to. I was trying to look this stuff
up.
I
know. Well, okay. I'm sorry. He says preachers have a lot of pull in our communities. Do they always have our best interest in mind or their personal agendas?
Right. Again, great question. Great question.
And it depends on the person and the specifics, because the service we attended today, I feel like they have the community in mind, the best interests of the people in mind. They're forward thinking and they have a deep care for our people. And so, and my answer for that church or that situation would be yes. Yeah. But then I could travel to the next one and probably say no. So it really depends on the specifics and the person for me. Right.
So yeah, it's hard to answer. You can't really give one concrete answer because like you said, one church might be, doing the right thing and for the people, and then another church might be pushing their own personal agenda. So yeah. But tell us your thoughts. What do you believe about the pool because these civic organizations, they do have a lot of pull, and a lot of them have large congregations. But like again, we don't know what their agenda is, whether it's for the people or whether it's their own personal agenda.
Right. So if I was going to venture to say, I would say that you're possibly speaking on the fact that there was more than 80 clergy who endorsed Mr. Hughley, and you're not sure if all of them have the community interest at heart or they have personal agendas. And so to me, you would have to get to know each and every one of them to see for yourself, because in this election season, we saw a lot of, how did you say it, wolf in sheep's clothing. We've seen a lot of lying and just dishonesty. And so you truly don't know who people are until you take the time to get to know them. And
you gotta vet them.
Yeah, past the lip service, past, this, what they want you to know. Yes. To what is really there. And so, yeah, that's how I feel about that, Mr. Wilson. All right. What's next? We're going to transition?
Yeah, let's segue into racism.
Oh, really, honey?
Yes. Yes.
I thought we was going to do the Georgia Cities Week next.
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay. Ooh, you are something else. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
We need to talk about it because it's the elephant in the room, but nobody's talking about it.
Okay. Well, some people are talking about it.
Well, not enough, I believe.
Listen, white people are quick to call black people racist today, which is just delusional. But go on, honey.
Yeah. So again, I just want to talk about racism, the history of racism, and when it comes to candidates who are white, who are running, do we have to wonder if they're racist? And is that a legitimate question? Because...
And we shouldn't be made to feel bad about it. You know,
well, again,
it shouldn't be uncomfortable for our race to vet and make sure we understand what we're getting. I'm sorry.
Well, let me preface it by saying, just because a candidate is white does not mean that they're untrustworthy. Does not mean that they're racist. But at the same time, history has shown us that our people have been left out, left behind, because of racism and white supremacy.
Right.
So our parents, our grandparents, they have dealt with that.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And they're still
and
alive.
Some of us have dealt with that.
Well, and we can even go back to slavery. What happened during slavery still affects African American people to this day. So, but yeah, I just wanted to ask the question. You know what I mean? Is this election about black and white? Because the city is divided, and the conversation that's being had about the two front runners for mayor, which is Joanne Cogle, in my opinion and what I believe, Joanne Cogle and Isaiah Hughley.
Right.
One African American candidate, one white candidate. So again, is this election about race? Because nobody really wants to say that it is. Some people keep trying to deny, no, it's not about race. And what do you think about nonpartisan? You know, people are showing up, I'm nonpartisan. But who are you? What are your values?
What's your ideology?
And
that we're seeing a lot of people run. I'm nonpartisan. I love everybody. You know, Then get in the seat. Well, those votes don't reflect that.
Yeah.
And that's the bamboozle of it all, because they're painting a great picture as they pander, as they sit here and communicate with our communities, but once you elect them, it's a different thing. You see a different thing. And I'm just one of the candidates. Kelly started off this campaign with the interview on a podcast stating that, and this is Stephen Kelly, that he voted for Trump. He went from being a Republican to now he's a what do you call it, honey?
Libertarian.
A libertarian, an independent. He went from one to the next. Mighty convenient. His vote contributed to what we have in the White House right now, the wars, all the things that's going on in our city. It contributed to that. And that same, people don't change overnight. That same ideology, that same mindset that chose to vote for Trump will sit, if elected, in a seat and use that same mindset and vote for things that will not help our community. But of course, they're going to tell us exactly what we want to hear during this campaigning session.
Right.
And that's what we have to be mindful about it.
Yeah, so put in the comment section what you think about racism. And is this mayoral race, and even the city council race, is race a factor?
It is, yeah.
Is it a factor? And if it is, why? And if you feel like it's not, why not?
Okay, Mr. Wilson says, just growing up in the church, I've seen candidates running, and my folks supported them with no questions asked. Uninformed voter. As I grew up, I understood I can't just support folks just because I know you or see you at my church. Who is Cascades Hill endorsing?
That's a legitimate
or
question.
First Baptist Church? That is an awesome question. That is an awesome question. He also says it's always been here. It make a lot of folks uncomfortable to talk about it. Racism, yes, that's so true.
Yeah,
and that
Columbus,
is a great
Columbus
point.
has been historically racist.
Yes.
That's documented. That's a fact.
Yes, I think Mr. Johnny said the Ku Klux Klan did their first lynching or something right here in this state, in this city of the state of Georgia. And of course, we know it was the second largest state for slavery of slaves, enslaved people here in this state. So, and listen, when you watch the Vigilante Inc., you see the history of Kemp's family. You see the history of a lot of people who had plantations, who owned slaves, and they have benefited from the labor of African American people, and they're on top, and they'll sell us the dream, or they'll situate these ordinances. Let's change it to nonpartisan. Let's make it easier for us to get in the seats and do the things we need to do. without having to, fight for the fact that I'm a Republican and we know that they won't vote for us if I'm a Republican.
Right, right. So, and acknowledging what happened throughout history, that's not blaming or pointing a finger.
No, it's the truth. It's the facts.
Those are facts. So you have to understand how we got to where we are. So nowadays, they don't have to put white-only bathrooms or white-only restaurants.
Say it.
They don't have to label it that way. But at the same time, look at the South Side, particularly South Lumpkin Road, and then go look at the North Side. And some roads like Moon Road and some roads like Williams Road. There's a stark difference. There's a huge difference in what one side of the town was. So they don't have to say whites only or blacks only.
Right.
It's, it's evident.
Right. And then
same thing with the schools.
That's where I was going, honey.
Yeah,
I was like, we take it to our schools. Our schools on the South Side are predominantly African American schools, which I don't have a problem with that. But what happens with that is the lack of resources, the lack of quality of teachers and educators. They have totally set the system up for teachers to fail coming straight out of Columbus State or any other school. You have to be a seasoned veteran teacher to do well in these schools on the South Side. Most of the turnover is because they get brand new babies out of college, young babies, send them into these environments where it's just not feasible for them. It's very stressful. It's not feasible. So you need someone who has been a teacher for a while, who can set that structure, who is more of like a parent figure because they're older, and they're more likely to listen as opposed to somebody that's closer to their age and they want to be cool and they want to hang out and, things of that nature. So, our system for school needs to be revamped. But what we see in that is the lack of resources, the lack of quality of education, because it has just been modernized. Jim Crow and all the different things that were outright before, it's subliminal, but it's still there. And they call that the, what is it? What did I tell you? My professor did not allow me to do my paperwork
Critical
on.
race theory.
The critical race theory. She told me I could not do my dissertation or include it in my dissertation, the critical race theory. And that is just where we're at in America today. They don't want to hear it. When I shared specific experiences, well, I didn't grow up like that. Well, I don't remember anything like that. And so
reality.
Totally dismissive of the reality of many African Americans. And, some people don't share the same story. And maybe that's what makes it easier for them to smile and tap dance with certain people, in addition to the fact that they're ambitious and they want to be able to get the things they want in life so they don't muddy the waters.
Yeah. Again, you got to go back and look at the data. You know what I mean? Look at the wealth gap. Look at where poverty is concentrated at. So, again, nobody has to say white only or black only. You can just, if you're paying attention, it's a different day, but the same old thing.
Absolutely.
You understand? So, again, history has shown us that racism and the framework and white supremacy is how America was built.
Yeah.
And that same framework is still in place.
Right. The system was not designed for us to be successful in it.
Right.
It was not designed with us in mind. And people need to remember that. Like, it's okay to love everybody. It's okay to be kind, to everybody. But just don't forget, like, the game that's being played here.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where we miss it, is we forget, we turn on each other in some cases. And, I'm going to be with whoever I need to be with to get what I want. A lot of independent stuff, as opposed to the collective and what's going to serve our community, the best. How anybody in District 7 could vote for Kogel is beyond me. And to me, it just has to be some kind of selfish reason. It can't be that her track record says she's done this, that, and the third for District 7.
Right. Look at the facts. That's all we're saying. And whoever your candidate is, what makes them the best candidate for mayor or for city council. If we're just going off their resume, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Which we all should be going off who's the best qualified candidate based on their resume.
Right.
What foundation have you laid? What have you already done? Mm-hmm. And based off what you've already done, how is that going to move Columbus forward?
Right.
So when you are advocating for a certain candidate, you can't be at all serious if you cannot be serious when you're listening to your candidate say things like they want to fix the water fountains and they want to fix the public restrooms and things like that. You understand? So people have to bring real solutions and a proven track record to the table.
And priorities, because priorities is livable wages. Priorities are affordable housing.
Yeah.
Those are the things that are plaguing our city right now, not during water fountains and glory holes and what do you call it? What you call it? I never heard of that before.
Well, once you do the research, I don't think you're going to repeat that.
Okay.
Yeah, because, you don't know what that means.
Oh,
so,
gosh. Okay, so I don't know.
Oh,
help today.
Put in the comment section and go ahead and educate her if you know what a glory hole is.
Listen, never heard of that before.
Oh, man.
But, so yeah, it's just really, it's sad for me. And as we ride around in our communities, as we're getting out there, we see what it truly looks like. Mm-hmm. In areas of our community, how many homes are boarded up that need to be torn down or renovated? Mm-hmm. In communities, like more than one on one side, two or three or five in one little neighborhood. It's too much, and we really need people who care,
right,
and who's actually going to move past lip service. This is the problem, and actually do something. Let me get some of these comments before we get behind.
Okay.
As we get close to the final voting day, you can and will see one migrating to their like kind. It's disheartening to see all white candidates supported signs stacked together, not showing any support for any candidates. Oh, yes, sir, of color. Our support is more inclusive, searching for the best qualified. That is absolutely the truth, Mr. Turner. Okay. That is some wisdom, sir. Yeah. And when for people come on the page and like, oh, you're racist. Listen, Mr. Van Duren, Dr. Van Duren is my person for District 9. He's the most qualified. Last I checked, he's white or whatever he is. Mr. Watkins for District 5 is white. I've met both of them in person. We've talked to them. They're exceptional people. Black people, first of all, if you're educated, you understand we cannot be racist. But second of all, this is a form of gaslighting. It's a form of deflection to make us feel bad or keep our mouths closed about facts, about things that's really going on in our community.
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson said, not me. And then he says Columbus, Georgia benefits from slave labor, millions yearly. Yes, sir. I want you to elaborate on this slave labor.
I think he's talking about the prison. But yeah, Mr. Wilson, are you talking about the prison labor?
Okay. He also says the worst part is the black folks that play in these folks' face until they hit them with the Uno reverse. Then they run back to us. And we take them back. Some of these babies are not coming back this time, Mr. Wilson. Some of these districts specifically, listen, they're not going to be able to come back at all from the aftermath of what has been done and decisions that have been made. I can promise you that they're not going to recover. I'm not sure what type of job they're going to get moving forward, but they're not going to recover. And they got by with this last election or what have you. They slid through the cracks. It won't be no sliding this time. Let's see. Mr. Turner says 58 years ago is not that long ago. It is not,
That's
sir.
Right.
It is not. Great topic, racism. Mr. Kelly, he says that is often avoided here in Columbus. Many Southern African Americans have been taught, let me go back down, taught to shut up for the sake of keeping the peace. In myriad of other reasons. No, every white candidate or citizen isn't racist. However, African American voters have the right to question if concerned. Absolutely. Yeah. Much like many of our white brothers and sisters feel it's their right to question whether or not some of us are voting for black candidates based on their race. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't just vote. That's been the coined situation. Don't vote for people because they're black. And then they say that, and then you have black people who feel like they got to prove. Yeah, I ain't voting for people just because they're black. They got to prove it. You don't have to prove anything to anybody.
Listen, we want justice, freedom, equality.
Like everybody else.
But historically, again, the data has shows that we have been denied that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a legitimate and fair question to ask.
Can we trust you?
Right.
And with some of the things that's been going on with the bills that were submitted and the backhanded, our counselors, they didn't reach out to us and say, hey, how do you feel about this? But then denying things that we do want in this city, we can't trust them. We cannot trust people sometimes. Let's see. A lot of our issue of today and this is Mr. Wilson, though, are self-inflicted. I agree. Knowing the system is rigged, knowing about systematic racism, we have to make better choices, and we constantly choose bad ones. I agree. We have to learn to stop voting against our own best interests. Mr. Turner, yes, sir, that's the truth. And as a community, we need to pool our dollars and vote and buy, and politicians, everybody else do it. Yes.
That's huge right there, and we having a meeting of the minds right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that subject, because if you drive up and down Victory Drive, Fort Benning Road, Casita Road, it is owned. Nothing is owned by us. Not a gas station, not a laundromat, not a liquor store. Nothing. Nothing. The majority of Casita Road, the majority of Fort Benning Road, the majority of Victory Drive is owned by other people. So they come into the community,
absolutely,
take from the community, and go enrich their community. What do? We take our money, give it to them, and make our communities poorer and poorer. And that's what we don't seem to understand. Every time we spend our dollar with another business outside of our own, we make them richer and richer and make us poorer and poorer. So we got to do better. Like, if we spent our money and spent our dollars in our own communities first, we wouldn't have to boycott or protest Target. We wouldn't have to boycott or protest Dollar General.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we give our dollars to Walmart. Do you know Walmart, the Walton family? They are some of the biggest racists in America.
Say it.
You understand? But we walk into Walmart happy to go lucky and spend our money with them. You know what I mean? So we got to do a better job of spending our money in our community first. You know what I mean? And that will help beautify the community. That will help bring economic growth to our own community. But we keep going to city council, begging them and asking them to come help us when we have the solution to our own problem.
And I like that you mentioned that, because I'll hear across social media that, a specific person is not doing anything for our community, and that all we're getting is liquor stores, all we're getting is vape stores. Yeah. Okay, so this is where the ignorance steps in, right? Because if you attend these city council meetings, then you understand the minute those rezoning signs come up in North Columbus, the people are in the building. Right. And they're telling them, we do not want this in our neighborhood. We do not want this in our neighborhood. We do not want. That's the difference. Because we do not show up when these people come and say they're getting ready to put this business or this business in our neighborhood and shut it down. You're not showing up. You're not at the city council meetings. You're not voicing your opinion and saying we do not want this. And because you're not, that's why we have vape shops, liquor stores, one after the other in our communities. We have to show up. We have to show up. We have to speak up. And being on social media and saying and pointing the finger about, that they, and they're allowing this, that, and third in our community. No, we're not showing up. We're not voicing our opinion that we do not want these things in our community. What I love about Buena Vista Road, yes, it has been a long process. Once they finish it, it's going to be beautiful. That is going to attract some additional businesses. And for the people that are complaining about vape shops and liquor stores, you will need to show up to these city council meetings as soon as you see a rezoning sign, as soon as you see something getting ready to open, and let them know as a community, either yes, we want this in our community, or we do not want this in our community.
Right.
And that's a lot of the problem for me. There's a lot of misinformation going on in the community. No, we don't all know it all.
Yeah.
We don't get it right all the time. But to point the finger and then also know that you're not even showing up at the city council meetings and that you don't even know how the process works, that's a problem for me. That's a problem. And I actually had somebody, did I explain? I think I explained this, that you got to show up, because when they was like in North Columbus, they didn't want no tattoo shop. They tried to put one down uptown.
Yeah.
They didn't want one down there. You know, people show up and they speak up, and that's what's missing for us. That's what's missing.
So my question to you again is, when is the last time that you supported your own African-American owned business, minority owned business? When's the last time you spent your dollars in your own community? When's the last time? And I'm not talking about at an Asian beauty supply store. I'm talking about your own African-American owned beauty supply store. When is the last time you spent your own money in your community? And not the businesses that are in your community who don't look like you. The businesses that are in your community who own these businesses who look like you. When's the last time you put $1 in your own pocket? And
I'm going to say Lakeitha, Elaine Ash has a beauty supply store on South Lumpkin.
As he leads.
When have you visited that place and purchased? She got all the products you need. And also, what's the other place you took me to?
Off of Winton Road.
Winton Road.
Yeah, beauty supply store. He's been in the community for years. For years. You know, when's the last time you've been by there to get your grease, your do-rag, your beauty products? You understand?
And we know you haven't been there, because for them to put that big old place on Manchester, take my at-home store out and put that big old hair place there, listen, they know there's a market. They've done their research, and they understand that African-American women and men will sustain them. There's no way a large beauty hair supply store comes to a big place like that. No way.
Again, until we take care of home first, you know what I mean, we're going to always be left out, left behind, and the community's going to look like it's looking. You know what I mean? So we got to take care of home first. Okay. And I'm for equality for all people, not just my people, but you got to take care of home first, just like they do. They're taking care of their people first. They're taking care of their home and their communities first. We got to do the same thing. You know what I mean? And it's not being done. You can drive up and down South Lumpkin Road and see that. You can drive up and down parts of Winton Road. You can drive up and down parts of Lawyer's Lane, MLK. You know what I mean? There are businesses in our community taking from our community and going and living on the north side of town. They don't even live in our community.
Right, and so
they don't give back to our community.
That part. Mr. Turner says that's where the pastors can do better job, showing up at the council meetings, representing their folks and community. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Fat Boy Scott just fixed my grill, best in the city. Okay, all right, Mr. Wilson. Awesome. Yeah, we have to do better. But the thing is we've been talking for a long time. When I first moved to Columbus, you know, I would go to every Friday thing that they would patronize an African-American owned business, right? The only one that's probably still standing is Skipper's on Buena Vista. Did I say it right? Skipper's on Buena Vista Road. That's the only one that's still standing since when I first got here. All of the
still standing.
Black restaurant that we would visit on Fridays to support, the rest of them have closed.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, listen, if you don't know about Netta's, you should. African-American owned business. Again, As He Leads, beauty supply store.
There's plenty.
Yeah, but you, like I said, you got how about Togethers in Phoenix City? African-American owned soul food. How about Lily's, which used to be Sugar's on Whittlesey Boulevard?
What is my Fat Mama's? What is she?
Fat Mama Lucy's? Yeah. So we're there. Our people are just not. We're not supporting. What about Thelma's that used to be on Victory Drive? That's no longer there.
Couldn't even make it
because they didn't get the support.
That is like a celebrity-owned, like big deal restaurant.
Listen, we gotta do better.
Make it here.
We gotta do better in taking care of home first. You know what I mean? Because you wouldn't go out and take care of somebody else's home. Cut somebody else's grass before your grass is cut. Right. You wouldn't go wash somebody else's car before your car is washed. Right. You know what I mean? You wouldn't go out and feed somebody else before your family is fed. But essentially, that's what we're doing. And that's why the community is starving right now. Right. And it's been starving for a long time.
Right. And that's the truth. We've had this conversation for a long time.
Yeah.
And I just wish that we can get to the point that we start making a CHIP Act changes. And that means that you got to show up. You got to know what's going on in the community. And you can't depend on somebody else to do that for you.
You can't.
You cannot depend on someone to do that for you. You have to show up, and if you're not able to show up in person, then you have to watch these city council meetings, because most of our city councilors are not having town halls. They're not having town halls, although Colbert has said, they're doing a really great job of having town halls. They're not. And they need to improve. This is 2026. They need to improve their communication efforts. There needs to be emails, like take a percentage out of whatever you're getting paid, or put it in an ordinance that you get an email, that you can send out emails to your constituents, or that you can have a web page, a dashboard that allows us to know what's going on. It's time out for the excuses, and then people getting up there making decisions that do not reflect what constituents want, and then they can't show up and face their constituents. So that's a problem. Yeah.
And again, when we're talking about support, let's talk about Black Wall Street in Stonecrest, Georgia, who's closing. If y'all haven't heard about it, if you haven't been to Black Wall Street in Atlanta, it's closing. Why is it closing? Because we didn't support it. Black Wall Street in Atlanta is closing because it didn't get the support from the African American community.
Right.
And it's sad and unfortunate, but that seems to be the going narrative in our community. Places don't get the support. People have all kind of great business ideas. Again, like I said, Thelma's soul food restaurant, they had jazz. They had them good oxtails over there. But now where are they? Gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they didn't get the support. And so until we support our own, until we pour back into our own communities, we're going to keep getting the same old. And nobody wants to, nobody likes somebody that begs all the time. And that's essentially, that's what we look like when we keep going to city council asking them to beautify and put money into. Yeah, they should. They should beautify.
Because our taxes are paying for it now.
They should beautify Columbus, period. Whether south side or north side. But it's not happening on the south side, and that's intentional.
And we have to hold them accountable for that.
Right.
Now, Mr. Wilson says they just merged Chester's. So merged, like they had more than one, or they merged it with another company?
Yeah, I think it used to be, I know there used to be one on Veterans Parkway, and I can't remember where the other location, but put where the other location used to be in the chat. But yeah, you were just asking about Chester's yesterday, who catered Mr. Hughley's rally. Shout out to Chester's Barbecue.
Yes.
Those chicken sandwiches were banging. Yeah, that lemonade was banging.
Yes.
So we appreciate it.
He also says the embassy is an event center. Shoot a podcast there. I had a grandma's 75th birthday there. Now, we've been to the embassy.
They're gone.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
The embassy is no longer. We've been there. They had events there. It's a church now. People didn't support the embassy for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And again, now it's gone.
Right.
So
beautiful inside, the renovation.
Oh yeah, that's a church I grew up in. It used to be a church.
Was nice. Yeah.
It used to be a church, 2503 Dawson Street. I grew up in that church. The embassy took it over later down the road, but it's no longer the embassy anymore. And I know those brothers from the embassy.
Oh, okay. He said Skipper's merged with Chester's on Buena Vista Road. Okay, that's a nice combination. That's a nice combination. Okay.
So yeah, we have to go by there and get some of that good fish, some of that good barbecue.
Yeah.
But yeah, and put in the chat, put in the comment section, African American owned or minority businesses that you know of.
Not minority.
Well, I mean, African American or so how do you refer to Latino businesses? I guess Latino businesses. Put in the comment section that you know of who have businesses that need to be supported. And put in the comment section the businesses that are African American owned or Latino owned that you support. So we all can know, so we all can support them. And that's the only way, that's the way the dollar circulates.
Right.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
Right. Yes, it should be staying within our community as much as possible. And for instance, the service we went to today, they had oils, they had pies, they had
soap,
toothpaste,
organic.
supporting each other in that way and keeping the money in our community. And so if we could just ever, get to the point where we can just buckle down and make it work, one day it would. But, the other end of that is that we have people who, for the lack of a better word, they are sellouts. They are not with the culture. They will attend meetings and then go back and tell others what was discussed at the meetings.
Which is fine.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's fine if they're gonna do that. You know what I mean?
Not.
Because
they need to expose themselves, but at the same time, it's not okay.
Well, so what I mean by that's fine is that's what's going to happen. That's all I'm saying. People are going to do that. Like they're going to be turncoats. They're going to be Benedict Arnolds. You know what I mean? But that's not going to stop the movement. You know what I mean? Like we still got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I think it brings
challenges, though. I'm not going to be specific
I wouldn't say that.
Specifically what I'm talking about. I will talk to you about it later.
Well, as long as
it brings challenges.
As long as we continue to unite, then it's not going to be a challenge. You know what I mean? It can be it's a deterrent, but it's not going to stop anything.
Right. I'm just saying it's an obstacle then. It's an obstacle.
Yeah.
And yes. And so, I'm just saying that's something that presents itself as an issue for us in our community as well. Because we have, either self-hate, or the fact to really need to prove that, I love everybody and I can get along with everybody.
As you should get along with everybody.
And that's
if you can, that's not reality.
That's basic though. Like to feel like you have to prove it and show it is too much.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know where people stand because again, there are sheep's and wolves clothing out here. You remember the story of Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother? You know what I mean? That's what we got going on. My grandmother, look how big teeth you have and how big claws you have. That's what we got going on.
Yeah.
People are showing up one way and then you find out that they're
something is totally
different.
They're
sheep and wolves clothing. So,
yes. And I asked you yesterday at one of the events that we were at, like, how do you show up to someone? It's bold to me to show up to someone's event that you do not endorse or support just for personal ambition. And we have a lot of that going on in the city. That's very bold. Like, if I'm not supporting you and if I'm not, endorsing you in any way, I'm not showing up. I'm not going to show up. Now, if we happen to be somewhere all together and publicly, I'm going to be cordial. I'm going to be respectful. But to do that is just another form of just disrespect for me. It's a disgrace.
And put in the comment section, what do y'all believe about?
What y'all think about that?
If there's a candidate who shows up to another candidate's event and they have not endorsed that candidate, what do y'all
supported them?
Do y'all think? Well, we don't know if they have or haven't. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just a suggestion, just one of the things that's possible. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, so put your thoughts in the comment section because
would you do it? In the name of ambition, would you show up to events just to get your name out there, just to, play along, to get along, or what have you, knowing good and well that you don't support someone?
No, that's not my style. So no, I wouldn't do that. I show up I show up authentically every day who I am. Like I'm the same no matter where I go. So I'm not going to show up somewhere where I don't rock with this person or rock with that person. I'm not going to do that.
I'm
you know what I mean?
Not.
So,
yeah.
But, to each his own. To each his own.
Yeah. So, let's talk about, are we finished with racism and nonpartisan stuff?
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add to it?
Just that here in the city of Columbus, it wasn't always nonpartisan. It was at some point, some years ago, that they decided, they implemented a strategy to say, hey, we're not going to win in a predominantly African American community, in a predominantly Democratic community. So what do? Well, let's switch it up to nonpartisan. Let's say, we don't have a party so that we can get more of what we need in these seats. And our people have fell for it. They fell for it.
Well, again, that's why you got to
entertain it and they fall for it.
Yeah, that's why you have, and again, just because a candidate is white does not mean that they're untrustworthy. Just like a candidate who's black doesn't mean that they're trustworthy.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
history has shown us that because of white supremacy and racism, we have to have in the forefront of our minds that this person could possibly be a MAGA supporter, i.e., Mark LaJoy. He's a Trump supporter. You know what I mean? So
MAGA,
how can he be for all of the people of Columbus? It's no way.
Right.
Steve Kelly came out and said he voted for Trump.
Yep.
He's a MAGA supporter.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So there is no way that...
And adjusted when it seemed like, okay, this may hurt my situation. I'm going to adjust. I'm going to pivot.
Listen, and that's what's happening. And all I'm saying is, these people who are MAGA supporters and Trump supporters, there's no way that they're for all of the citizens. They're for a certain demographic of Columbus and not the other. And
the other part of that for me is that if I vote for Trump, okay, that means I vote for his policies. I'm in alignment with the things that he agrees with and he does that may hurt other people. That part doesn't line up for me. So
you can't separate.
Yeah, that part doesn't line up for me. So I can't say that I love black people and all I hang around with is black people, but I have voted for a racist. I have voted for someone who is doing things in the community to hurt other ethnicities outside of white people. So it just doesn't line up. And I just I just wish our people would just stop being so docile, so nice, feeling this need to be nice. You can be respectful, you can be cordial, but also stand on business. And I think that was one of the major things I heard at one of those emancipation meetings we went to, is standing on business.
Yeah.
I love you, I care about you, but respect is there, and I'm not gonna, shrink myself. I'm not gonna belittle myself for anybody.
Right.
And we shouldn't have to.
Right. I agree. And somebody told me that morality can't be legislated, but behavior can be regulated.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what we got to do. We got to regulate behavior.
Right.
For people like Trump and his MAGA supporters.
Right.
And people like Alton Russell, who's for, separation and suppressing your votes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we have to be mindful of people who say they're MAGA supporters or people who say they're nonpartisan, but in reality, they're MAGA supporters.
And,
you know what I mean?
And are we really just willing to do anything to get a vote?
Yeah.
Are we willing to do anything to get a vote?
Some people are.
And most of these people are, they standing on God and they standing on faith and they standing on this. But at the same time, they don't have the faith to trust that I don't have to, demean myself or belittle myself or my dignity or my respect to get a vote. And that's what's very sad for me too. We have a lot of that going on. When somebody has come out and publicly demonstrated a certain way about a certain ethnicity of people, we don't have nothing to talk about. We don't have anything to talk about.
Let's talk about my brother's keeper. My brother's keeper, and shout out to Reverend Jesse and what he's doing with the Historic Claflin organization and Project Rebound Inc. with Dr. Hood. Shout out to Dr. Hood and everything he's done in the community and doing in the community currently. But let's talk about the Liberty District. Let's talk about the Liberty Theater. And that's another thing that goes back to what we're talking about when it means we got to take care of our own community first. How did the Liberty District or the Liberty Theater even get to this point? You understand what I'm saying? So we gotta do better. We gotta do better. But yeah, my brother's keeper is having a meeting tomorrow at Prince Hall it's downtown. I can't remember the address. 6 p.m. If you can make it, and we'll put later on in the description.
Yeah, we're gonna be there.
Yeah, there's a meeting about the Liberty District, and put in the comment section your thoughts about the Liberty District, the Liberty Theater, and the plan that the city has for it or doesn't have for it. Because again, the Liberty, it shouldn't be in the hands of the city. It shouldn't be, because again, poverty is concentrated in certain areas, and the Liberty District is not on their radar.
Right.
It's not a part of the conversation. Well, it's a part of the conversation, but sometimes
it's a priority.
Right. So we got to do better as a people. If we want the Liberty Theater to be brought back up, we have to do it. Mm-hmm. The city's it's not a priority on their list. Baseball is. Mm-hmm. You know, certain parts of Uptown is on their priority list, and the Liberty District is not one of them.
Right.
Neither is A.J. McClung Stadium.
Nope. Mr. Wilson says the MAGA supporters that try to change their mind only lets me know they was okay with racism, and that's not okay. That's the truth.
Yeah, that's the truth. And people can change. People can change. People have the right to be able to. I mean, everybody, just like they say, prisoners should be able to change their life. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody should have the opportunity to make a change. Mm-hmm. So we can't hold somebody accountable for the rest of their lives and put them in a box and say that this is what they're about. We have to give people grace, as they say. Mm-hmm. Everybody deserves grace.
But
at the same time,
the change.
Right,
you
gotta keep your eye on them. Like if somebody's a thief and they've been a thief and they changed their lives, you still have to keep your eye on them. You still gotta watch your wallet and your purse and make sure they're not taking nothing. And then over time, after they've proven that they've changed, then you give them support.
Okay, we have a Miss Pat on here. She was like, now in my 7th decade. How you doing, Miss Pat? Why are we having the same conversation as 50 years ago, a time when North Highland shocked South Columbus and all races headed for Vietnam? That is a great question. And you wanna
Yeah, ask the question one more time.
She says, I'm now in my 7th decade. Why are we having the same conversation as 50 years ago, a time when North Highland shocked South Columbus and all races headed for Vietnam?
Yeah, I'm not.
And then Mr. Wilson said, in my 3rd decade, I'm experiencing what happened in your 3rd decade. As long as it's happening, the conversation must be had. Absolutely, sir. And that would be the answer, because nothing has changed. It has evolved. It has modernized. Yeah. But it has not changed.
Now, some things have changed. Some things have changed, but some things have stayed the same. And what I mean by that is we can vote now. People are not voting. Columbus is predominantly African American, and our people are not showing up to the polls.
But why?
Well, they're not showing up for a myriad of reasons. Okay, so yes, that's the foundation of it. They're not showing up because of they're living in extreme poverty, and that's not on their high priority list. Yeah. Food, shelter, transportation, that's high on their priority list. So voting, that's the least of their worries is trying to vote. So that's part of it. And then there's the framework of racism and white supremacy. Again, so, a lot of things contribute to why African American people do not vote. And it's not some minute reason. There is a really good reason why people don't vote. I mean, we should be voting. I just watched a documentary the other day on Dr. King and the struggles that they went through so people could vote. You know what I mean? So people could have the right to vote. Now, I heard a brother ask this question, or he made a statement saying that when something is given to us freely, we don't want nothing to do with it. Right. But when it costs us something, you know what I mean, then we want it. I think that applies to a demographic of people. Okay. And I think about children, like some children, you can lay out a plan and give them things based on their personality. They're going to be grateful. Yeah. They're going to move in that direction. And some, you can give some and they're going to. Well, I think that's systemic, though. I don't think it's not for nothing. You know what I mean? Because we got here, we are in the place that we are currently because of what happened to us during slavery and our ancestors. That's why that contributes to our mindset. So we the minister talked about today, renewing your mind. People's minds have to be renewed. Yeah. They need education and knowledge and a thorough knowledge of where we came from. Right. True history. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to our youth. Our youth are not getting the education that they need. they're not getting, they're not being taken care of in that way. So
Miss Pat says
we got to get back there.
she sees neighborhoods all over town, including those I grew up in, deteriorating. And
Right.
she says poverty is the problem. Okay.
Exactly.
You're
exactly. Right. So Mark LaJoy wants you to believe that you just arrest everybody and then poverty will change. That's not how that works. That is not how that works.
Yes.
You got to give people opportunities. And historically, our people have not been given those opportunities. But in fact, we've been given prison, we've been given drugs, we've been given alcohol, and we still getting those things.
And when you speak on that, to me, like, I posted something on social media. It was just a question, but often I like to pose a question. People will get on social media and they think they know you like 100%, in the direction you're going with the post. But a question is always a great way to learn about other people, right? Yeah. So I posted a question in a screenshot, and how it reads, it suggests that our current mayor, he only passed high school and did not graduate from any formal education. He's a realtor, or he was a realtor, and that's it. And so just based on that question, I got some comments that's like, well, why are we attacking Skip? It was no attack. It was just a question.
Well, people think accountability or asking questions is an attack for some reason.
And then the other side of that was that, do people really need a formal education, to be able to, have good leadership and be visionaries and things of that nature? Of course, they don't. We know that.
Okay.
But I've known African-American men who go to college or do higher education so that they can be competitive and so that they can speak the language. If they don't have the discipline to teach themselves, do the research and teach themselves, then they go to an institution to learn so they can be competitive with what's going on in our culture.
Right.
And the thing is, for me, is that many of us, like even Eddie Lowe, the mayor in Phoenix City, he has a degree in finance.
Listen, shout out to Positively Phoenix City.
Yes.
Shout out to them and the mayor, Eddie Lowe, over there.
Yes, and he's been a mayor for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, and so he has a degree in finance. Most African American people that you look at across in this state who are in positions like that, they have degrees upon degrees upon degrees, because that is the standard for us. Thinking that we would transition into a seat like that with no education or background or boards and all this good stuff like that, we know that's not going to happen. But that's not the same. It doesn't. The equality and the grace of that does not spread across ethnicities. And I hope we know that as a culture.
Well, history has shown us.
Yeah.
We will never get the same opportunities. I'm not saying we won't ever, but historically, we have always had to work harder than our white counterparts to get the same opportunities.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we have to do more with less.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
yes.
That's kind of been history.
And we do
it.
We do it. We do it.
How do we make it out of slavery?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do we make it through Jim Crow? How are we making it now?
And
we're
so,
resilient.
And so my issue and my conviction with that is that knowing how hard we have to work to obtain positions and to be in positions, knowing the things personally, that you go through when you're in a leadership position, and the stuff that you get that comes with the territory for being in those positions. How do we just give it to somebody else? How do we just give it to people? How do we just say, I want you to be my leader.
Yeah.
I want you to be my leader. You don't have any of the credentials that line up with most of the citizens.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Well,
and I blame us for that. I blame us for overlooking the fact that our culture of people have worked so hard to get the things that we do have. How dare we give it away to somebody else? How dare we give it away and they consider us DEI hires? Over 300,000 women African American women have lost their job under the Trump administration. Educated, qualified, but because of DEI, they lost their jobs. Yeah. But you got somebody like this with no education. Right. And there's not even a thought that they would ever lose their job. They're not even being held accountable for the things that's going on in our city right now. People love, and this person can do no wrong. Oh, well, he didn't really have nothing to do with that. But I beg to differ.
And to me, that's debatable when it comes to someone being an elected official but not having furthered their education. It's not needed. As long as you have the skills, the transferable skills from whatever background or field that you came from, all well and good. You know what I mean? But again, we're talking about historically, we have always had to have more and do more for the same position as our white counterparts. So that's why, again, you have to. It
stings for me.
Well, it should. But again, that's why we have to ask the question about racism. And that's why we're having this conversation. Because it matters. People try to say, no, it's not about this. It is. At the end of the day, it is about race. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't be, but it is. So when a white candidate like Joanne Cogle, who's running for mayor, you have to question whether she's for some people or all of the people. And based off of her resume in District 7,
and she's not.
We would have to come to the conclusion that she's not going to be for all of the citizens of Columbus. And that goes for some of the city councilors currently serving on city council. They're not going to be for all of the people. They're going to be for a certain demographic of people. And how do we know that? Because we've been paying attention.
Yes.
Which way they vote, what they vote on, who's a part of their coalition.
No, real quick.
You know what
no,
I mean?
I'm not doing this and I'm not doing this. We have people who are not getting paid what they should be getting paid. Yeah. But a judge will come forth and say all this crap about what he's doing that don't even sound like it goes with his job, and bam, it's approved. But
motion.
Yes.
Motion second.
No disrespect to you. I mean, condescending, disrespectful, everything, and will not approve. Don't have nothing to say. But if somebody else gets up there, their stuff is approved, is moved along. So pay attention to what is going on in our city. And I will ask you too, look at the African American ladies who have been voted as mayors in different cities. Look at their credentials. Tell me how that lines up with Cogle. Tell me how she is even considered a front runner over somebody like LaJoy. Now, he does have how many years? Over 40 years of military. He was a command sergeant major, military, police, and all that kind of stuff. He's older. He has a wealth of more experience than she does. How in the world does their group not choose him over her?
Well, again, it goes back to, like I said, you don't necessarily have to have be educated to be an elected official or to be mayor. But what you do have to have is a proven track record of success in leadership and a proven track record of being for all of the people. So while Joanne Cogle, while she may not have the education that Mark LaJoy has,
or the experience,
but she does have experience as a business owner. You see what I'm saying? And as some business owners, that's transferable over to being an elected official.
Well, not in this case.
Well, not in this case.
Yeah.
All I'm saying, I just said that to say, I'm just saying that to say, you don't have to be. You don't have to have degrees. You don't have to have a college education. So that's all I'm saying. It takes a proven track record.
Not even that.
It does take proven leadership. You know, it takes proven leadership for you to get into these seats. And I do understand. I do understand there's going to be a learning curve. Everybody who sits on council who's never been in city government, there's going to be a learning curve. But if you have not been effective, if you've been in city council and you haven't been effective for your whole district, there's no way that you're qualified to run for mayor. That's what I would say.
But what I'm saying is that when you say that it doesn't take this, that, and the third, it doesn't take that for some people.
Meaning?
For her, it doesn't take that. For the mayor, current mayor, it doesn't take that.
Mm-hmm. I'll say what you're
For
saying.
Crab, it doesn't take that.
Are you saying being educated, or are you saying being...
Yeah, because they have very minimum of if anything. But
that's across the board.
No, it is not. Look at Toya Tucker up there.
Okay.
And if that was true, the amount of education that African American women first, men and boards and all this extra stuff we jump through hoops to do, if that was true, we wouldn't do it necessarily. If it didn't take all that for us to have to build this, pleasant resume that, look, we're good Black people and we can do this and we can do that.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that. That's all I'm saying. They don't have to do it.
African American people cannot do the same things as their white counterparts. It's been proven. So to your argument, we cannot. We have to have more education. We have to have more knowledge. We have to have more experience. That's been proven over time. Data shows that.
That's the truth.
That's where before DEI there was affirmative action. That's where affirmative action came in, because we weren't getting opportunities that our white counterparts who has no education, who has no experience. So again, we have to do more with less. You know what I mean? And that's
what I don't want people to forget. Like, don't discount your sacrifices. I'm getting upset. Your hard work and everything you've invested in yourself and in our culture, and just give it away. Don't do that. We work hard.
Right.
And we've had to consistently work hard to get anything. And when we just give it away to people with less, I mean, it's a disgrace.
Well, when you say when we give it away, what do you mean we give it away?
Voting. And choosing people who, are less qualified. Just because, I don't know why.
Well,
over our own people.
Well, again, you don't vote for somebody just because they look like you. You should vote for somebody because they're the best qualified candidate for the position.
Right.
Now, again, historically, it has been proven that white supremacy is going to limit us and keep us from being in certain positions or moving forward or being promoted or being in certain positions. It's been proven. So that's why we have to be better. That's why we have to do more with less. That's why we have to be more educated, have more experience, because it's not a level playing field. It's not a level playing field. So the only way you level that playing field is to properly vet whoever the candidate is, whether they're Black or white. So people are saying, well, you shouldn't vote for Mr. Hughley just because he's Black. But history has shown us that the level field is not, the playing field is not level. It's not level. So we're still in 2026 trying to level the playing field. So why wouldn't you vote for somebody like Mr. Hughley who looks like us? Why wouldn't you? When history has shown us that if you vote for someone white, they may not, they're not gonna take care of our community. They're not gonna include African Americans in the budget, in the plan for Columbus.
Right.
History has shown us that. So that's why when we start talking about voting for a white candidate or a Black candidate, it matters. Race matters.
It matters.
The color of your skin absolutely matters.
It matters.
People trying to say it doesn't, but it does.
And the misinformation here is like, the mayor is the visionary for the city. The city manager implements his vision. We have not seen the vision of Mr. Hughley as a mayor. And I believe he deserves that opportunity. He has been a city manager. He has not been a mayor. He has the experience and he has served and he knows how to be the mayor. And that's why I believe he should be it. But to attribute everything that's wrong in the city to the city manager and not the visionary and the chief executive officer of the city is absolutely ridiculous. It's willful ignorance to me. He has implemented what the city council has allowed. They are the voters. They implement the budget. They say what can be done or what cannot be done. He presents people. They either vote yay or no. No. So it's on the council. It's on the mayor. It's not on just one person. And it's unfair that people cannot see that. It's unfair that they can't see that. And, it's particular, like, I think we've talked about every candidate across the board. I got candidates that may not like me right now. They look like me. We've talked about every candidate across the board.
Right.
It hasn't just been, well, let me just, zoom in on this candidate.
Yeah.
Across the board. I've been in plenty of city council meetings where I've had, issues with public works. I've had issues, that they have addressed with me, city manager, and all that stuff like that. So I just truly believe that what we're seeing, it bothers me that people can't see the bigger picture of knowing that there's an unequal playing field, and it has been consistently been there.
Yeah, but again, you got to pay attention. You have to pay attention to history. You understand? Because that will tell you, that will paint the picture of how we got here and why certain things are the way they are. And yeah, so due diligence, you have to do your own due diligence. You have to live in reality to a certain degree, period. Because some people who are misinformed, we all know that ignorance is bliss. Some people are just going to vote for somebody because they know them or they like them, and they're going to not vote for somebody because they don't like them or they don't know them. They're not even keeping the main thing, which is this person the most qualified? So that's what frustrates me. Is this person, you don't have to like Mr. Hughley. You don't have to like Joanne Cogle. You don't have to like Mark LaJoy. You don't have to like any candidate. But what you do have to know and do it, and your responsibility as a citizen is to make your decision based on if the person is best qualified, period. So if you're asking yourself and being real with yourself and being truthful with yourself about who's the best qualified candidate, then, if you're asking that question and then making your decision based on that and being informed on what the candidate has done and what their background is, then okay. But if you're just voting for somebody just because you know them, just because they look like you, you're part of the problem. Right.
Mr. Wilson says, what did he do as a city manager for the tenure he had that he can do now as a mayor if elected?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So as a city manager, and this is what people have to understand too, it's two different things. You know what I mean? But because he was city manager, listen, he was city manager for 20 years. He was in city government for 40 years. So you mean to tell me being in city government for 40 years that you don't know? You worked closely with the mayor for 40 years. So you mean to tell me that this man does not know how the city runs? I mean, come on now. People are just not being honest. But what the city manager does and what the mayor does is two totally different things. The mayor is the CEO of the city. The mayor sets the tone. The mayor has the vision of where the city should go. But the power lies with city council. City council and those votes, those 6 or 7 votes, that's where the power is in Columbus. Because the mayor can make recommendations. The mayor can say, hey, I think y'all should do A, B, or C. But ultimately, the city council, they're going to do what they want to do. You know what I mean? Especially in Columbus, in the way that the government is structured in Columbus, the mayor doesn't have a lot of power. And people don't realize that either. He's the face of the city.
The visionary of the city.
He's the face of the city. He's the CEO, just like the CEO of any other company. You know what I mean? But again, the mayor cannot vote. He doesn't have absolute power. That's what I'm trying to say. The power lies with city council and their votes.
And everything we have, what we see right now is a result of their votes. A result of their votes. So if we don't have enough resources for certain things, it's because they have not funded it. It's because they have voted no. If the budget is jacked up, it's because they have approved it, and that's why it's jacked up. That's the reasons. Those are the results that we're getting is based on their votes. their oversight, their decisions, period. And to sit here, they have decided to pay over $649,000 to a consulting company who tells the city that the finance department for over 35 years has had an excellent, finance rating, no issues, no nothing. And then you got city councilors who get on social media and say, don't be bamboozled. And this is not the truth. Well, why are y'all taking taxpayer dollars, $649,000 worth, for us to be confused? For us not to understand exactly what's going on in our finance department. That is not the city manager's fault. That is a decision from city council. How it just does not make sense, and it doesn't make sense that people don't want to hold them accountable, and that they feel like they are not attached to the results of what we have going on in our city, because they make the decisions. They vote and they make the decisions. So we have the things we have in our city that's going on, or that's right, wrong, and indifferent, because we have a city council of vote of 6 or a vote of all that said yes or they said no, period. And when they vote, then the city manager tries to carry out what has been voted for them to do. Public Works, they present whatever they need. They say they need resources, they need people, they need this. Well, guess what? They fought tooth and nail for this new system that they have for the trash cans. People are still not happy. They implemented charges for additional trash can. These are all things that city council approved. The public works director didn't make up her own thing and just do her own thing, and neither did the city manager. These are things that were presented to the city council, and the city council voted. They are as much responsible, if not all responsible, for the things that's going on in this city, more than anybody. Right.
The power lies with city council. Those votes, those who get up there and vote on ordinances, the budget, and all these other things for the city, they're the ones that you hold responsible. Those are the ones that you go get on that public agenda, like I'm doing Tuesday, and hold their feet to the fire and ask the real tough questions and look them in their eyes and get answers. That's the only way you're going to change the government here in Columbus. Get on that agenda, apply pressure, and we're gonna keep doing it. And that's why we have this platform, because we're gonna keep raising hell until it's heaven. That's what we do here. So until other people start doing the same thing, we're gonna keep doing the same thing. And understanding
what's going on, I really hate that we have city council people who are on social media who are dishonest, who paint a picture in the narrative that they're the victim and that it's everybody else's fault. I hate it.
Because but that's misinformation. That comes with the territory. It's misinformation.
No, I hate it because the thing is that they're playing chess. They're making decisions behind the scenes. They're communicating with citizens things that they want them to get on the public agenda to talk about or to fuss about or whatever. They know exactly what they're doing, but presenting themselves to the public like they're goody two shoes or what have you. So a lot of things goes on behind the scenes with city council. Before they get out there and they have those meetings, they have already agreed on what they're going to agree and move forward and things of that nature. They communicate with each other during these city council meetings. They text each other. They are working for themselves more so than they are working for the people. And that's why they can't have town halls and things of that nature, because they're afraid to confront the folks that they are not representing properly. Let's see. Would be able to do as far as power. Let's see. Why isn't the city manager job hunt as so out front as the mayoral race? Should we be just as concerned?
Well, listen, when it comes to hiring a new city manager, you have had to be in the know and paying attention to what's transpired since they fired the last city manager. Because, we can speculate and we can give you our opinion, and we have the facts because we were front and center when all of this, went down. But again, you got to do your due diligence about, what the delay is on the new city manager. Now, somebody could say, who's on the outside looking in, that those city council members who voted to get rid of the new city manager and the current mayor, the mayor is just waiting until he's out of office, the new mayor comes in, and then the city council will essentially appoint whoever they want as city manager. Because if Isaiah Hughley, in my opinion, is the new mayor, they don't want his recommendation for city manager. They fired him. You know what I mean? So of course they don't want who he recommends to be city manager. It's who they want. So again, it all ties back into city council members who are
their own agenda,
who are colluding to push their own agenda, whether it be fire the city manager or whether it be hire the city manager. And there was no contingency plan. They didn't put it. Yeah, they just fired the guy.
Nothing.
Caused instability.
Knowing that he was going to retire, they could have been putting a search out, looking for somebody to replace him, and allow him to continue to be the city manager until he transitioned for retirement at the end of the year. But instead, they terminated him, continued to have to pay him. They were less than smart. They played in our faces with our tax dollars because, like you said, there was no contingency plan. Nothing whatsoever. It was an emotional move that they made, and now we don't have a person because they were meddling in that as well. According to our mayor, they are not supposed to be reaching out and talking with the person that's potentially going to be presented as the city manager. So they meddled in that, and that pushed it back some. So a lot of the issues I believe that we're having is city council, and they have done a great job of creating chaos and confusion and pointing the finger. And I am ready for a change in that department.
And we all should be ready for a change. So again, when you look for questions or ask questions about why this and why that, look no further than the city council members. Those who are voting, you have to watch the patterns and watch the way certain city council members vote. That will tell you who's together and who's not.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the city council, why the question that needs to be asked is why were they so in a rush to get rid of the city manager?
Right.
And why was there no plan in place? Or why did it have to be done so swiftly?
Right.
You
no
understand?
Plan, no contingency, nobody to transition in, nothing.
And where was the respect? This man has served. Not only did he serve, but this man served Columbus well for 20 years. Where was the respect and dignity to let to let him retire?
Transition and retire.
They didn't even do that respectfully. So that lets you know what's going on with city council.
And I want to point out too that I shared on our page that Angelica, which is the finance director, she asked for 2 positions in finance. They deleted the positions. They denied it. So if you have a finance department that's struggling to process over $45 or $46 million, as the person said, and they come to you asking you for employees and resources for employees, tell me what sense does it make to deny the positions and delete the positions? That don't make no sense. It don't make any sense. And all of this stuff has happened, and we have not been, filled in on, the conclusions of city council's role in it, what they did right, what they did wrong, any of that. They have just been successful in pointing the finger, telling us not to be bamboozled. We are bamboozled by city council more so than anybody else in our government right now.
Yeah, listen, we have
Mr.
Go ahead.
He says, I'm new to paying attention to the details. I knew these people moved shady, but that is crazy. We need to get rid of everybody. I think so. And
not everybody, because there's some counselors on there who are not part of the chaos and division. But those who we know for sure are in a group, in a clique, and colluding together,
they
need to go.
When you bring people on for a particular agenda and a motive, you know that the city council is not serving us. They're serving themselves.
Yeah.
They are serving themselves. And you know, we've seen a lot of foolishness on social media. Like, you got plenty of things to do in your district besides be on social media and back and forth. And that's even for the candidates that's running. If you don't have time to be on social media and people's comments, and there's plenty of things that need to be done or improve your campaign, like, all of that stuff to me is a red flag.
Yeah.
It's a red flag.
I agree. I agree. So yeah, but again, we got to do our own due diligence. Hold leadership accountable in Columbus, and show up to the polls to let them know and keep applying pressure. That's the only way things change. But I'll let you have your last word, and then I'll.
Okay.
Yeah. What you want to add to that?
I don't know. I think it was a good discussion, and if you can't tell that I'm passionate about it, I care about our communities, and we do what we can. Everybody has to do what they can. Everybody has to show up and move past just showing up, speaking up, and doing what we can do in our communities. And that's all I ask. You know, this is not personal, but it is personal when you care about our community, when you care about what it looks like, and when you care about our children that are walking through these communities. You know, environments will make or break you, right? I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I love palm trees. I love the ocean. It gives me so much energy. An environment can change how you show up, your mental health, all of those things. So if we don't care enough about our kids, our district leaders, our counselors, they don't need to be in there. They need to care. When they pass by something that's out of shape, they need to be able to get it fixed. And if they can't get it fixed, we don't need them in office.
I agree. So with all that being said, listen, we hope y'all enjoyed the show. Make sure you come back next week. Same time, same channel, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Right here, Candid Conversation. It's been real. Listen, we're in the season of early voting. Make sure that you show up tomorrow to cast your vote as soon as possible. Don't wait until the last minute. You need to take advantage of early voting because it's been proven that early voting is what matters in local elections. So, again, we thank everybody for joining us. Make sure that you are supporting African American owned businesses. Make sure that you take care of your home before you go out and take care of somebody else's home. But we can leave it there. It's been real.
Keep
voting,
showing up.
Yeah, voting matters. Your vote counts. Your voice needs to be heard. Your voice matters. So again, thank all of our supporters. Peace and love.
Thank you for being with us tonight. We greatly appreciate you all. Mr. Corey, Mr. Turner, Mr. Quinones. Welcome, Miss Pat. It was great to have you in the comments tonight. And thank you all very much. We really do appreciate iron sharpening iron.
That's right.
And we're doing great. Thank you.
Right. My brother's keeper. Historic Claflin and the Liberty District, the Liberty Theater, make sure that you are supporting those organizations so that we can bring back the Historic District of Columbus and also the Historic Liberty Theater of Columbus. But yeah, that's all we got. Hope y'all found value in this content. Peace and love. And we'll see y'all in the next go round.